and I want to thank everyone for joining. This is Matters Arising, episode 3. We do this about every month, and we talk about different topics and issues that affect young people, young adults. And today we've picked a very important topic, which is beyond the classroom, empowering youth for workplace excellence. We want to talk about how to excel in our workplaces. And I have a good friend. Well, she firstly a friend to my wife, but then she became a family friend. Our family became our family friend, and so it's nice to have her here. I read about some of the things she's done, and very impressed about her career and what she's doing in her career. So I decided to invite her to share some of our expertise and experience with us. Okay, great. And so we have Katie online. I don't want to do the introduction. I want her to introduce herself. So I'll ask Katie, please, can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I know. I have so enjoyed getting to know you and your family. And yes, your wife, Tolawani, is definitely a highlight from the beginning of our careers together. She's just so great, and I love having her in my life. So, hey, everyone, I'm Katie Colling. I am a manager in data and analytics working for a corporate consulting firm. I am a mom of 3 little ones. They are just my pride and joy. So I have kids that are 4, 4, and 5, and I am married to my best friend, my husband, Joel. We live outside of Athens, Georgia, and enjoy kind of our country living, and enjoy our dogs and being able to go outside and have fun with our kids on our land. So I'm really excited to be here with you all. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Victor.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What are the names of your 2 dogs, if I may ask again?
Oh yeah, so I've got one, a boxer. His name is Thor, just like the superhero.
Okay.
And then the second one, when we got him as a puppy, he just looked so much like a teddy. So like we named him Teddy Bear, and
Oh,
so there it
wow.
is, Teddy Bear Colling.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting. Now, I want to tell those online or those that will be joining later that if you have any question, please feel free to just jump in, put it out there in the comments, or after this section, if you have a question, you want me to send it to Katie and want to get a customized answer from Katie, I'm going to make sure you get it. Okay, I'll
You got
send it
it.
to her on your behalf. So Katie, I know from the topic we talked about beyond the classroom. We're going outside of the classroom, but we cannot leave the fact that we can also bring in some educational experiences into our workplace. Okay, so the first question I will ask is, how do we leverage our educational experiences to excel, in our workplaces?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. To me, when we go through college, university, even high school and, before that, we are creating the foundation for ourselves. So I always tell folks when they're coming up in their careers and entering the workplace that, you don't have to know everything to start at your job on day one. That most definitely college helps to give you that foundation, but it also helps to build those skills that are so necessary for, thinking on your feet and solving complex problems, thinking through kind of the process of how you go about problem solving, the importance of teaming together with people and group projects like we do in school. So I think that that our education helps to lay that foundation. And then once you're in your career and at your job on day one, at least my experience has been, build upon that foundation and continue to thrive and learn. But most definitely do not have to know everything for your job on day one. You will continue to build on that foundation that you got in school as you go through, when you start out in your career and beyond. So yeah, I think that those are some things that that come to mind for, how does college and university kind of set us up for that. I would also say that, to me, it's like everything that you get out of networking and experiencing, your relationships with those in school are just so important. And I don't think that you realize it as much when you're kind of in it.
Mm,
But the people that are around you, the people that you're graduating from college with, are going to be the people that you're out there working in the field with, people that may end up being your clients
mm,
one day. And
mm.
there's been times I've actually gone back to campus and been
Yeah.
able to and interact with my professors again, but more in a recruiting context, looking for
Mm,
folks to join my firm and coming to their classroom to speak about data and analytics.
mm,
So I just think it's really interesting too that the people that you engage with throughout your education will continue to
mm.
be a part of your life, and building those relationships then at the beginning is just so vital.
Wow. Wow, that's very interesting. Thank you so much, Katie, for that answer. And talking about networking and establishing connections, it's not very common for young people, especially um, and the newer generations, to build connections. We are used to making connections with our screen, you know, um, with social media, and not really building connections. So I want to just let's highlight that a little bit. How can young people build a professional network now and establish valuable connections that will help them to excel in their workplaces?
It's such a great point. I mean, it's like the relationships that we build in person can continue to be enhanced, through hybrid
Mm,
measures. It's
mm,
okay, most definitely, to use technology to keep in touch with people. But man, once you're out there and you're in the workplace, having those confidences and those skills in person to
mm,
really be able to thrive in the workplace are just, so vital. So I would, yes, just really encourage folks that it's okay to have a little bit of cross between hybrid and in person, but really being able to find your voice and have that confidence when you're in person with people only comes from really practicing it.
mm,
So would encourage folks to really, get into that when you're here in school and as you're getting into your job. I mean, I know that with the pandemic, we've
mm.
most definitely found a way to make things work virtual, but I think that it's the balance that's really important.
Oh, great. I know as you were talking, I was just remembering one of my youths, that I work with. He's very good, he's good on his computer. I think he's a software engineer. But he does not like, he tells me all the time he doesn't know how to, relate with people, like break the ice with, his colleagues at work, or, so he just stays on his decks and he's just quiet throughout, just facing his job or something. And I know you have experience of reaching out to people. Just share one or two. Just, what advice would you give to that boy? How can he break the ice with his maybe colleague or manager or something when he's at work? Can you give anything?
Yeah, yeah. What comes to mind is
Hmm.
that you don't know that you need the walk out in the sunshine until you're out in the sunshine and realize how
Mm,
valuable it is. So
mhm,
that's what I would say to folks that really find a lot of enjoyment with kind of that heads down, at home, kind of
mhm,
seclusive, type of work, is
mhm,
that I think the balance is really important, but you don't know that you need the sunshine until you get out there.
mhm,
So just give it a try. Get
mhm,
out, meet your managers in person, go to lunch,
mhm,
enjoy that in-person connection,
mhm,
and most definitely keep, like we were talking about before
mhm.
with hybrid and in-person. I think
Yeah.
that the balance is okay,
Mhm.
but would really encourage folks to get out there and try it. You may surprise yourself with how much you enjoy being in person with people.
Great. Thank you so much for that motivation. You know that life is not without challenges, right? And commonly, even though young people don't expect to meet challenges, but there are challenges, and I will always go through challenges as we navigate uh, our journey, right, towards success. I don't want. I want you to share what are those? I know I'm sure you've gone through some challenges through, as through your journey. You know, share one or two things and how we can overcome these challenges, or what do we expect, and how do we overcome these challenges too, so that we can be focused on achieving our goals and ambition.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm,
Well, yes, I'm happy to be a bit vulnerable and share a little bit about my journey in hopes that
mm,
maybe it makes an impact on some. So yes, when I first started out of high school, I graduated fourth in my class, was on to do great things, but once I got into college, just wasn't quite at the level of maturity and just wasn't quite ready for everything that was in front of me,
mm,
and got distracted, and so I ended up dropping out of college,
mm,
having to navigate my early 20s, with all of a sudden having bills and things, and how are you going to navigate this kind of challenge that's come up in my life.
mm,
And so I remember relying a lot on my past and
mm,
remembering that I've gotten through a lot. Let me draw
mm,
some strength from this, and being able to just get back on track. And I did get back into school a little bit later in life, and had some really fantastic people around me that were supporting me and encouraging me along in my journey.
mm,
I want to share this because I like the story a
mm,
lot. I remember when I was at the business school of UGA, I had finally decided on my major, and I was
mm,
just so excited. I once I had the intro class to it, light bulbs are going off. This is what I want to do in my career. And so I applied to be in the management information systems major, and I got rejected.
mm,
And so then I'm here at this crossroads in my
mm,
life thinking, man, am I going to change the next 40 years of my life by switching my major? Or am
mm,
I going to try to do something about this? So I already had made up my mind that, if I couldn't figure it out at UGA, I'd just go to another school, because I
mm,
knew that data and analytics, MIS, big data was really what I wanted to do. So
mm.
what I ended up doing was just working up the courage to go straight to the dean's office.
Okay.
And I sat on her couch, and I had a conversation with
Mm,
her, and let her know how important this degree path was to me, that it's
mm,
taken me about 8 years to get to this point
mm,
where I'm finally feeling on track and inspired to start a career.
mm,
And so she gave me some criteria. She said, all right, Katie, I want to believe in you, but this is a very competitive program. Here's the criteria that I want you to do in order to get into the MIS major. So I am very pleased to say that I met all of the criteria, one of which was getting A in a Java class, which
wow.
I am like the furthest from wanting to be anywhere in software engineering. So it was very challenging for me. But I ended up
Mm,
getting an A in the class amongst a few other things, got into the major, and thankfully did not change the next 40 years of my life. When I reflect back on that, Victor, I'm like, man, it was that crossroads. It was this kind
mm,
of one decision that would have just taken my life into such a different direction. And I'm just
yes.
really thankful that I had the support of a lot of people in my life, my family, my boyfriend at the time, that's
Mm,
now my husband, and
mm.
was able to get through it, and here I am now.
Wow, wow, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And if you don't mind, can you share the age you had when you had to go back to school for MIS?
Yeah, you got it. Let's see. So I was 26 when I went back to school.
Wow, 26. Wow, that's a lot of courage. I wanted to ask for that age specifically because Um, I know it's going to relate with a lot of young people. I mentor a lot of young people, and some have dropped out of school. Just like you said, very similar to how your life went, and they are finding it difficult to get back to school. They're thinking, I'm too old. My mates are graduating at 22, 23, and why do I need to go back to school? So really, I was like very impressed that you had to go back to school at 26. And another thing I see from your story is your focus, despite the rejection, because some people, once you're rejected, you just throw in the towel and say, I'm done. But you knew what you wanted to do, and you had that focus. Even though you were rejected, you went back there, you spoke to the dean, and now you're a manager. You're one of the top four, top four. We call it top four, right? And that's very good and very impressive. And that is just to motivate those people out there that you can always go back. You have dropped out of school, you don't feel like, it looks like you've been rejected and you don't know what to do, you can always go back. Keep your dream alive. If it's MIS, you want to, go back to data analytics or whatsoever course you want to read, you can always do it. So take the courage like Katie did and go back, talk to anybody you need to talk to and tell them, I need to do this. Okay. I need to do this.
Thanks
Yeah.
for saying that. Victor, I was going to chime in with one more thing that came to mind. So I liked what you said about, okay, well, you exhibited some courage and to go back to school at 26. I will never forget the feeling of being the oldest, student in the room, being the one that's different, that maybe doesn't fit in. And when I look back on that experience, I wish that it would have occurred to me that my difference was actually an asset, because I bring a different perspective to the table than, kind of a typical 19-year-old college student, in this MIS class. And so the diversity of my age inside the classroom actually truly was a good thing to have. I brought a different perspective. I was able to help on projects in a different way, through a different lens. And I think about that a lot now in the workplace as well. I love helping to lead our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives that we do in my job, and that's something that we really strive to spread awareness about. Is that our differences truly are what bring us together?
Yeah, thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that, Katie. Really appreciate that. And I want to just tell those online again, thank you for joining. You can be part of the discussion. You can drop in your comments. You can ask questions, ask Katie questions and whatsoever you want to. Just be free. We'll be very flexible with this discussion. We are waiting for your comments. We are waiting for your questions. Okay. Thank you so much. Now, let me ask another question. What role does continuous learning and professional development play in success for young professionals?
Oh, so much. Okay, so to me, when I'm interviewing people, I am looking for that hunger for learning, for knowledge. I think that it just expresses so much about a person when I ask them, hey, a typical interview question, hey, how do you stay up to date on new technology trends? And when people start stumbling, I can tell, that they don't really have that hunger for what's going on new within our industry, then it's kind of a flag that they're going to get left behind. For example, something so big in the world right now, if you don't mind me taking just a minute or two to talk about it, is generative AI. It is changing the world. It's really taken the world by storm.
Yeah.
And I feel very confident in saying that it will change every industry, that our world and each industry and the way that we engage with each other and the way that warehouses put together products, banking, everything is really changing. And so it's kind of like either jump on board or get left behind. and so to me, it's that continuous learning about what is going on in the world, what market forces are going to be affecting the type of industry that I work in, or the type of role that I have. And so to me, staying up to date, leaning on your network, finding people around you that are also sharing a passion for your industry and for the latest trends, and especially around technology as it affects pretty much everything in the world, in my opinion. But I think that hunger for learning is really important. So another kind of skill or quality that I think is really vital. So when I think about kind of being that kind of star employee, that high performer, like why do people get picked up for projects at
Mm,
work? There's a few things that come to mind. It's like when you are truly a good human
mm,
at work,
okay.
people just want to be around you.
Mm,
Your genuineness and the care that you have for the people around you
yeah.
will just shine
Mm,
through the way that you work with people. So when I reflect on my 7 years in my career and remembering getting picked up for projects, hey Katie, can you jump on with this? We really want to have you. You did a great job on the last one. It was just in simplest terms, just being a good human. I feel
mm,
like it just exhibited, my character, and people wanted to work with me. My kind of ability to team. I think that teaming is something that people just kind of brush off. That yeah, okay, got to be able to work with other people. But those group projects that you do in school, they're there for a reason. That's the
mm,
way that it is in the workplace. You
mm,
are constantly collaborating with people and solving problems and building products and solutions
mhm,
and working on things together. So I think teaming is really important, and just having a strong worth ethic.
ethics.
I think that people will see your hard work through the end product that you give in your project work, and that work ethic is definitely important. And I think how another reason why maybe I've gotten picked up for projects in the past. So
Mhm,
just a few things, wanted to throw
mhm,
those out there.
Yeah, good. Try it out. Yeah.
I
Wow.
love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Katie. I'm sure we are learning so much from you. Somebody already commented, this is awesome. You're genuinely okay. Facts. Yeah. Yeah. So it's good to know all you've shared, and it's good to know that Katie has been involved in recruiting a lot of uh, employees, right? I'm right, right? I know you go out for recruitment. I forgot what you call it now in different schools, and I'm sure you know what employers are looking for, in an employee. And so, if you have a question in regards to um, employment, interview, recruitment, please throw it out there. Katie is very experienced in that. Very experienced in that. Now, apart from being a manager in your space, you're also a mom of three kids, and the question will be, how do you balance your career with your life? How do you maintain this balance? So that you are okay physically, family wise, you're okay. At the same time, you're doing well in your career. So, can you give us some nuggets or tips? Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for the kind words. Yes, it most definitely is challenging. There's been a lot of experiences that kind of have to pick yourself up and think to yourself you can do this. Especially when you're a parent, you've got tiny humans depending on you. You kind of don't have a choice. It's kind of each day, let's get up, let's do this. So there's a few things that come to mind with kind of the work-life balance topic, and finding ways to be effective both in both of my hats as a manager at work and as a mom and as a wife. Not to mention family member and friend and
Yeah.
every other hat that we wear in life.
Mm,
I try to make sure that if I have flexed one way or the other for work or for personal recently, that I make sure that I'm not flexing in the same direction too often.
mm,
So what I mean by that is that I've got my typical 40-45 hours a week that I put towards work, and the rest of the time that I put towards myself and my family. And so if I find myself flexing one way or the other, I try to keep myself in check. I like to, purposefully, very intentionally block off my calendar for periods of the day or days that are important to me.
mm,
And so So, my kids' birthdays, my husband's birthdays, those are blocked off every year. Don't
Hmm.
call me. Don't ask for any project help. I am with my family. These are important days. My son played t-ball for the first time when he was 3, and I remember thinking to myself, man, how is this going to work? I've got a wall of conference calls just about every day. I work on global projects. I need to be able to meet with people sometimes, when it's convenient for their time zone in Singapore or in other parts of the world. How am I going to make this work? So what I did is I just raised my hand to my management, to my leadership at my firm, and I said, listen, my little boy is playing a sport. This is very important to me. I need to find a way to make this work. And they're like, thank you so much for speaking up, because we would most definitely want to work with you so that you can, feel fulfilled on both sides of the fence. And so I blocked my calendar off on Wednesdays in the afternoon, were his practices, and so every week I was there for my little boy. And thank goodness I work for such a fantastic firm that I was able to do that flex pretty easily. If I needed to get on at 7 a.m. instead of 8 in order to kind of get a little bit of extra work done, then that was fine. Or if there's something just really pressing for that particular day and it can't wait, but I'm still going to get off at 4 o'clock. Like I said, I'll jump on after my kids go to bed and handle that important email or get back to my staff that need me for some, answer to a question on a deadline upcoming. So that flexibility to me is just so huge. If you can find a firm that is willing to do that for you and give you that flexibility in your life, for your family, for anything really that's important to you. Fill in the blank. For me, it's my family, my kids, and my husband. But for you, it may be, your church. It may be this really important hobby that you want to make sure that you have time for. It may be your neighbor who maybe, is of aging health and you want to be able to be there for them. So fill in the blank with whatever's important to you, but find a place that respects you and respects what's important to you, and allows that flexibility. I just think it's so huge. So I'm kind of going in a couple different directions, Victor, but those are a few things that pop in my head about work-life balance.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Katie. Really enjoyed it. And you can see that by many comments coming in, and learning so much. That's my wife, Esther. She's there. She's hardworking and genuinely caring about people is what makes you shine. Yeah, Betty is saying, preach, Katie, I'm being blessed. Bukashos is saying, lovely, keyword, be intentional. Yeah, one thing that you said, I also, Betty is highlighting that is speak up. You need to speak up, let the people know I need to do this. And for you, it works very smoothly because when you're at work, you do your best. So when you speak up that you need some time, to take care of your family, it's easy to say, oh yeah, you can have your time to do what you have to do. And another thing you said that really caught my attention was that you wake up in the middle of the night to finish up what you couldn't meet up, during the day because you had to pay attention to family. That really shows that you are much hardworking than I thought, actually.
Appreciate that. I know.
That's very
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we're all learning how to balance. Yeah, because once we're able to balance ourselves, then we can go far. We can go far in life and in every aspect that is important to us. Another question. I know you spoke about some skills, qualities, but maybe we should just dwell on that if you still want to add on that. What are some key skills and qualities that young professionals need to develop to succeed in modern workplace? What are those skills and qualities that young people should try to develop as if they want to succeed in the modern workplace?
Absolutely. Yes. Well, like we were just talking about speaking up, to
Mm-hmm.
me, when people have questions, it's a sign of intelligence. It's a sign that you're
Mm-hmm.
thinking something through. You're wanting to lean on other people's experiences and
Yeah.
perspectives to solve a problem. So to me, there's nothing wrong with questions,
Mm-hmm.
and really important to ask them. I would give the maybe advice that your manager maybe isn't the first person you should always go to with your question. There may be other avenues that you can get it answered. And there may be times you should take it straight to your manager. So encourage you to find that balance, see if there's other avenues to get things answered. But questions are so important. And I think having that courage to kind of raise your hand to ask them is also really important. I'd say that realizing that we don't have all of the answers leads to a couple of things that even if I feel confident in something, I still want to get that outside perspective. So mentorship has just been huge for me. I am a mentor to a good number of people. I've kind of built up this group of people that I meet with regularly. I've kind of picked up people over the years. It's been really awesome in both my personal life and my work life. Even when people leave, my firm to go to a different place, I still continue that relationship. I love being able to lean on others when I need advice and when they need it from me. So I would say that mentorship, I think, is just so important, a really important initiative to be part of, both when you get to a point in your career where you are being the mentor, but I feel like even all the way up to the partner level, that everyone should be mentored because everyone should be looking for that diverse perspective to apply to their life and always wanting to learn from others. So I think I would encourage everyone to find someone in your life that you look to, that you like maybe their career, you like the type of work that they do. Maybe you just really like the type of leader that they are, or like the type of manager that they are, the way that they talk to people. Maybe you like the actual work that they're doing, the project work, and you want to learn from them for that reason. But find someone in your life that you want to kind of model your own career after, and just ask them, would you be willing to engage in a mentorship relationship with me? I would love to learn from you. One really minor piece of advice I usually give to people is to kind of put a timeline on it. Sometimes people very experienced in their career may think like, oh gosh, I don't know if I can, go into yet another relationship, another recurring call on my calendar. So sometimes I'll even kind of put a time frame on it. What do you think? Can I learn from you for the next 6 months? I'd like to put, a recurring monthly call on your calendar through January. I think it would be really awesome. And then we can reevaluate at that point. So just a minor piece there. So yeah, I think some of the things we talked about before, having a hunger to learn, having that strong work ethic, being a good team member, and then learning from others are the things that come to mind.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Definitely, I'll need to listen to this recording again so I can find all those pieces that you
You're kind.
mentioned. Yeah, but thank you so much. And mentorship, like you said, very key, very key. And I want to advise our young people to find mentors. Is something that is lacking in the new generation because like we said at the beginning, the new generation people that the young people don't like coming out of the box. They just want to do their stuff. We got it, we can handle it. It's okay. I can do it myself. But it's very key that we need to be mentored. And I like what you said, that even if you know how to do it, you still want to find other people's perspective. You want to say, oh, what do you think about what I want to do or my presentation or this work I'm doing? What do you think about that? So you can get another perspective. Another perspective adds shine to what you do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kitty. Yeah, this is, well, very similar, but I know everything you said will tie into this question because as you seek growth opportunities in an organization, we are in an organization and you want to grow, you want to grow in that organization. I know everything you said, mentorship, reaching out, everything plays out in answering this question. Well, is there anything that comes to mind apart from what you said, when someone wants to seek, we are not in an organization, but you want to grow. You don't just want to remain an associate. I think I remember when you were an associate, you started with my wife, but I watched you, grow over time, from being an associate, now you're a manager, and I'm very sure soon they'll make you a senior manager. Means you're doing so well. You're moving up the ladder. It's not like that for everybody. It's not like that for everybody. So what is the secret, Katie? What is the secret?
You are kind. Thank you. Okay. Well, another thing that comes to mind to me is that knowledge is something that no one can take away from you. It is something that once you obtain it, it is yours and you own it. And so training to me is really, really important. Some people kind of brush off training like, oh, I've got these mandatory, credits that I have to get every year, and I'm just going to do the bare minimum, and maybe I won't really watch the video. I'll just kind of click through, yada yada. Let me just get my credit and move forward. However, knowledge is something that no one can take away from you. Knowledge is so key into progressing in your career. Things that you wouldn't really realize, and then they come up. There's a need for something. There's been times in my career where I've had to kind of like put the brakes on something and say, okay, I haven't really studied this. I need to go and kind of brush up before I can feel confident here. So I think just always taking training seriously and being part of it and being present. Sometimes, we kind of multitask or, shrug things off. So I think really truly being present in the moment when you're in any kind of a training is really important. I think finding your voice is something else that comes to mind for me, especially you brought it to my just top of mind for me when I reflect back on being an associate through kind of where I am now. So I remember in college, especially, having to get up in front of the room and give a presentation. Gosh, I remember being so nervous, having butterflies in my stomach, and my voice would shake, and I feel like I would have all this nervous energy, Gosh, I just reflect on that. And now I think about in March when I was on a stage in front of 200 people,
Wow.
in a huge auditorium, training about our firm's investment in technology and helping people learn about AI and cloud and things like that. So it's like to me, public speaking specifically, it comes with time. I know that people say that, but I can be kind of your living testament that that it comes with time. The more that you just embrace it, get up there and give it a try, the more comfortable you will be with it. And also for public speaking, when you know your stuff, you'll be surprised. You'll surprise yourself. When you truly feel confident in the material, when you get up in front of anybody, one person, 100 people on a stage in front of a camera, you will be really impressed with yourself that you truly find your voice because you have a level of confidence behind it just in the subject of what you're talking about. So when I'm preparing for a presentation, one thing that I will do is I will literally type out word for word. So this is kind of pulling back the covers and letting you see. So I will type word by word everything that I am going to say. And so then when it's time to be live, obviously don't really have the ability to kind of read that. But because I've gone through some repetitions, because I've practiced and I've typed it out and I'm able to read it and practice myself, I am that much more successful when I do this live. The last last thing on public speaking I want to share is that, I started doing this myself. And then one day I remember seeing our global CTO in a glass kind of conference room by himself. And he was talking and his hands were moving and he had a card in his hand. And I remember thinking to myself, there's not a camera in front of him. He's not on like a virtual call and presenting. He is practicing. And so seeing my own leadership doing the same things that I do to prepare for presentations was a really good sense of validation that this is important and helps you kind of be successful and find your voice and your confidence.
Wow. Thank you so much, Katie, for sharing. Thank you. Some comments here. Let me see. A true case of practice makes perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think practice is what differentiates the good from the best, I guess. And finding your voice and public speaking matters in your career journey. Yes, you have to put in the work. Yes, giving quality time to practice. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, for what you said that you have to practice your presentation. That's a big one, word by word. But we can see the results of practice, and it's good you also share that it doesn't matter how high you go, you still need to keep up practicing. Seeing your global, CTO practicing, even though it was at the high stage, because the higher you go, the higher the level of the people you speak to, so you have to keep practicing so you can meet up the level. Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate that. We are rounding up, getting to the last few minutes of our discussion. If you have any question, this would be a good time to put in your question in the comments so that we can take your question. The last thing we'll talk about, Katie, is imposter syndrome, which is very common among high performers. I would say I've felt that before in my life, that is, you never, in fact, sometimes I have some things I want to put out there, maybe on social media, at work or something, but it never feels enough. It never feels good enough. So I keep looking back, say, is this good? No, it's not good. I'm not good enough. Even when it goes out, I go back and say, no, it's not good enough. So I keep thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. But other people tell me I'm good, but I don't believe I'm good. And sometimes maybe it's very common with perfectionists, those who like their work to be very perfect, but it hinders them from moving forward, from doing their best. I will tell you that some things I've trashed. Instead of showing people, I just trashed it because I felt it was not good enough. But those things in the trash, if I give it to someone else, they will appreciate it so much. But this affects us in workplaces, and it makes us not to come out. We hide our talents and we're unable to shine. But what can you say to that? What advice can you give to those going through imposter syndrome?
Absolutely. Yes, I have dealt with this myself. I have most definitely felt as the imposter, especially when you're joining something new, a new team, working with new people. If you're getting into a new type of project work where you're new to the subject matter itself, anything, starting a new job, I can only imagine would feel like that. So most definitely, I just want to first empathize that, hashtag me too. Absolutely. This is something that has happened to me, and I think folks on the line as well have probably felt this. So the biggest thing that comes to mind for me when anyone is feeling imposter syndrome is to take a look in the mirror and look backwards. Just remember everything that you have been through that has gotten you to this moment. Think about any kind of challenges that you've overcome as, a teenager, or getting into college, or graduating from college, starting in your career, things that have happened early in your career. Look back in time and think through those challenges and think about how you overcame them. When you think about how you overcame them, then draw on that strength and remember I did that, you know. If I can do that, I can most definitely do this. I am
Yeah.
supposed to be here. I'm strong. I'm intelligent. I've got this.
Yes.
So that's kind of my tip is when I feel imposter syndrome creeping up on me and anything new, I try to look back to the past and remind myself, you got this, girl. You've come so far. This is just another kind of, you know, thing in your life or your career that you're going to overcome.
Wow, thank you so much, Kitty. And what I get from that is you should take time to count your successes. Take time to appreciate yourself and not just focus on the challenges ahead. Look back at the challenges you've conquered and draw strength from them and move forward. That really helps. That really helps. It kind of assures you that, I mean, if I was able to go through that and came out well, then I mean, I'm not praising myself, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm not bad. Yeah, thank you so much, Kitty, for that answer. We have one question. I think I saw a question. It said, "How?" That's from Betty. How do you handle having a no as an answer at work, especially when it's something you are convinced about?
No as an answer. Okay, yeah, I see it here. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Yeah, especially if it's something that you've worked on and you've researched and you feel like, you know, you have the answer and then kind of get that rejection. So I'll answer, and then if there's any additional context that you want to provide that could help me answer in a different way, just say the word, or we can, you know, connect afterwards. But yeah, to me, I would say that it would be good to get some validation from a few different perspectives. This is again where mentorship comes into place so much. There have been times when I encounter something at work where my boss said, this isn't quite what I was looking for, or I don't think that this quite meets the mark, or it's something that was really important to you, and maybe like we're talking about with work-life balance, and you got the no. I would say to go back to your mentorship channel, to any other kind of, if you have friends at work, like for me, I would have gone to Tolawani, and just ask for that different perspective. Make sure that that you may have tunnel vision about something, so it's good to get a couple of different perspectives, to maybe open the playing field a little bit, and see if you missed something, or if you're in the right or in the wrong, or if you should reevaluate, or go in a different direction. I'd also say that that I don't think there's anything wrong, especially being a manager. I welcome my staff to come to me with conflicting answers or opposing answers or thoughts, that I hope that you work with people and managers that are approachable like that. I think that's so important in you feeling valued at work, that the things that you have to share are meaningful. So I hope that you can feel that you can just go to that manager, that you got the no from, or whatever's going on, and just have a conversation around it. I hope that helps, Betty. But most definitely, if there's more context that would have
Yeah.
changed a little bit of how I would have answered, just say the word. Would be happy to connect.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Katie. A no is not a nonsense, right? A no is not a nonsense. So sometimes, even though you get a no, try to find validation from other people. Yeah, your manager, your boss may not, take what you have, but that does not mean that what you have does not make sense. So get validated from your mentor or from your friend, and let them see from another perspective. Thank you. Thank you so
Oh,
much, Katie. Yeah.
and Victor, one
Hmm.
last thing that just
Hmm.
came to my mind on this
Yeah.
is there have been
Hmm.
times when I type an answer real
Hmm.
quick, like
Hmm.
just in the moment, but I might be feeling some emotions, or,
Hmm.
I don't know, just it was the first thought that came to mind or first response that came to mind. And there's been a few times that I said, you know what? Let me just let that sit. Let me let it simmer, and I'll put it in draft format and I'll keep it. And let me come back to it tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm going to have a fresh perspective, new set of eyes. My emotions will have been, feeling a little bit differently by the time that I come back to it.
Hmm.
And then I read my response and I say, oh my goodness, I cannot believe I was about to send that. So there's been times when I've been really happy with myself that I just let it sit, walk away, come back with a fresh set of eyes, and then you may even feel a little bit differently about it.
About it.
That, could be in response to this question or really just anything, but just wanted to share.
True, true. Thank you so much, Katie. Yeah, because we also need to agree that maybe we need to rethink our what we are putting forth. Look at it from another direction, and we might not see it at that point. It will take time for us to see it, so we need to sit back and come back again, to look at it. Very good point. I like that, Katie. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Is there any other question? Any other question online? Uh, and if not, we'll be rounding up. Thank you, Katie. Betty is saying thank you. Enlightened. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm waiting. Any more questions? Okay. If not, I want to say, Katie, thank you. All right. We appreciate you for coming to speak at our Matters Arising. Maybe hopefully in the future, we will not just uh, come online, it will come physically in person. Okay, and talk about this again. But I really appreciate your time for giving us an hour out of your very busy schedule. I know you're very busy woman. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate that. Really
I
appreciate
so enjoyed being here with you. I think that I was happier to come than anyone was to receive me. So thank you for the opportunity. I really enjoyed
that.
sharing with you all. And if I can be of any help, please just reach out.
I would do so. Thank you. Yeah, the comments are also coming, appreciating you, and they hope to see more of you. Okay. All
Excellent.
right. And thank you for everyone who joined us. Thank you for being part of this discussion. Thank you for keeping it lively. We really appreciate your time too. The comments are still coming in. They're still coming in. And we really want to appreciate that. You catch a replay of this recording on our YouTube, on our Facebook, so we can learn more from the discussions. Okay. Okay. Have a great evening and have a great night. God bless you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.